Are we actually ready to trigger Article 50? To discuss that, I'm joined now by the Conservative MP and former Northern Ireland Secretary and Leave supporter Theresa Villiers, and by the City of London Special Representatives to the EU, the former Liberal Democrat MP and Foreign Office and Home Office Minister Jeremy Browne. Welcome to you both. Are we ready?
We are. I think it is time we got on with this process. I think it was right to take a period to do the groundwork to prepare for the negotiations. But I think it's important that we press on with implementing the result of the referendum.
So you weren't with David Cameron that we should have done it the day after the referendum?
No. No, I don't think there was any need to do that. After all, it's quite a rigorous timetable, 2 years, when you take into account getting consent from all parliaments around the EU. So I think it was wise of the Prime Minister to set the end of March as the timetable for tabling Article.
So does it make much difference to you whether it's tomorrow or the end of March or next week?
I think it's very important to stick to the timetable that's been announced. I wouldn't like to see it slipping, but as long as it's done by the end of March, I don't think it's really that significant either way.
Several senior, former Conservative cabinet ministers, actually people who support Brexit, have said to me that they think that Mrs May and David Davis have made a mistake in as much as on precisely those issues they've gained no commitment from the European Union side as to whether they are going to allow negotiations in parallel, or one will have to follow the other, or whether there'll be a check in advance. So we're at a disadvantage in the process.
Well, that's really the result of the EU leaders saying they're not going to negotiate on anything before the tabling of Article 50.
But talks about talks would have been possible, wouldn't it? I mean, couldn't we have said, we won't trigger this, we won't get into the process until we've got some idea of where we're heading, and instead of which we've conformed to their timetable?
I'm sure the government and the civil servants have been doing everything they can to engage informally, but it's been quite a sort of very clear stance on the part of EU leaders that they're not going to engage in talks about talks. But I think Jeremy's right. A crucial issue is going to be this issue of ensuring that we conduct the exit negotiations in parallel with our discussions on a trading relationship. Now, some in Brussels take a sort of doctrinal approach and suggest that you have to do one before the other. But after all, it is in the mutual interest of both sides that we have a positive trading relationship. So I hope that will mean we can get on with the two processes in parallel.